There's one simple trick to controlling your weight.
Cardiologist Stephen Gundry says he solved the weight loss mystery.
You really have changed the way I think about what I eat.
Best book I've seen on diet ever.
If you've been struggling with your weight, I've got the solution for you. It's a superfood that you introduce into your diet.
People at home right now are saying, I cannot believe what I'm hearing.
Sound too good to be true? Well, Dr. Gundry is living proof that his discovery works.
So I used to be 70 pounds overweight, and I was running 30 miles a week. I was doing half marathons on the weekend. I was going to the gym 1 hour every day and eating a healthy, low-fat vegetarian diet. And no matter what I did, I couldn't lose weight.
Then Dr. Gundry discovered a remarkable scientific breakthrough that changed everything.
I attribute almost all of my weight loss to the addition of one thing that I did to my diet. This here is your stomach. If you constantly find yourself craving sweets, fast food, carbs, or any other foods you know are bad for you, your stomach is where those cravings start. But have you ever wondered, why do we crave foods that are bad for us? Why does your stomach beg you for pizza, pasta, snacks, and sweets instead of leafy salads and healthy proteins? My name is Dr. Stephen Gundry, and for decades I wondered the same thing, especially because despite being known as one of the top heart surgeons in the world, I myself was 70 pounds overweight and a junk food addict. It's amazing how excess weight can creep up on us. And it can happen to any of us. However, now I know it doesn't have to be that way. Because as I researched, I discovered something startling. Junk food was not the problem. It was actually the healthy foods I was eating that were causing my belly to expand, giving me embarrassing digestive problems, and ultimately destroying my health. Since this shocking discovery, I've not only lost all that excess weight, I've helped thousands of others to do the same. By actually cutting out several health foods and adding in one special superfood I'll tell you about in this video. If you've struggled to feel your healthiest and look your best, despite eating healthy and staying active, this video will explain exactly why this is happening to you. And it's not your fault. Many of the tried and true methods you've tried in the past may have been sabotaging you this whole time. And once you find out the real reason you're still dealing with fatigue, digestive problems, intense cravings, and unwanted belly fat, you'll be stunned how much easier your goals become. In fact, back in 2002, I retired from academic heart surgery for good to put all of my focus on helping people avoid the operating table by focusing on food, because the right foods are not what you've been taught. In my opinion, this food pyramid right here couldn't be more wrong. In fact, as I'll show you in this video, it's basically upside down. And all of the trendy diets out there, low carb, paleo, keto, low fat, even just counting calories, all have one major flaw that I'm going to expose here today. And would you believe there was one so-called healthy snack that after I cut from my diet, made my tummy look noticeably slimmer almost instantly? You may be snacking on this also, so I want to warn you about it. Now, I don't know about you, but I hate when people tell me there are things I can't eat. So for each of the 3 fake health foods I share with you today, which I do suggest you avoid as much as possible, I'm also going to tell you about 3 sweet treats you can have that you may have heard were bad for you. In fact, one of them is a candy that I recommend you eat as often as possible. I'll also show you 3 fake health foods that could be clogging up the main power center of your body, your digestive tract. So, if you've struggled with bloating, excess weight, especially around your belly, irregular bathroom habits, fatigue, digestive discomfort and gas, lack of focus, and cravings for food you know are bad for you, I want you to watch this video closely. Even take notes if you like, because in a few short moments, I'm going to reveal the true culprit behind these all too common issues. Plus, the one superfood I credit with helping me lose 70 pounds and keep it off. When you give your body this little-known superfood, the bloat goes away, the embarrassing gurgling goes quiet, your energy levels skyrocket, and you no longer crave junk food. But the best part? You'll never have to count a calorie or carb again. People notice in all 6 of my best-selling books that there are no calorie counts for anything. And that's because I was able, with the addition of one superfood, to maintain my weight at 165 pounds without counting calories. Again, my name is Dr. Stephen Gundry, author of the best-selling books Dr. Gundry's Diet Evolution, The Plant Paradox, and The Longevity Paradox. And if you're finding what I'm telling you so far hard to believe, that's okay. Most people don't believe me at first. until I show them the research around how certain health foods are making us fat, sick, and tired. You see, over the last 30 years of research and performing over 10,000 surgeries, I've discovered some things about the human body. Things that hold the key to helping you drop unwanted fat, enjoy easier digestion, have more energy without caffeine, and even have younger-looking skin. I'm currently the founder and director of the Center for Restorative Medicine with locations in Palm Springs and Santa Barbara, California. I was professor and chairman of heart surgery at Loma Linda University School of Medicine and was chosen to join a group of 20 surgeons picked to implant the first implantable left ventricular assist device, or what now is known as the artificial heart. I also serve as the personal physician to self-improvement guru Tony Robbins, Oscar-winning actor Alan Arkin, and I'm also famous for operating on people who no other doctor wants to. Why does Tony Robbins trust me, a heart surgeon, with his personal health? It's because I've discovered some fascinating facts, not only through thousands of hours of clinical experience and research, but also through my own personal journey to a body I am proud of. As I mentioned not too long ago, I was 70 pounds overweight. And that's despite running 3 miles every day, about 30 miles a week. I was eating a low-fat vegetarian diet. I was going to the gym 1 hour every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it just didn't make sense why I couldn't lose weight. At the time, it was horribly frustrating, not to mention embarrassing. But today, I'm actually glad I went through those struggles, because it helped me understand the frustrations my patients were going through. Doctor after doctor would tell them, just eat healthy and exercise. But I was living proof that's not enough. Something else had to be going on. It motivated me to find the real answer, not just for myself, but for all the millions of people out there who are struggling with their weight, digestion, and energy levels, despite staying active and watching what they eat. I created this presentation to show you the one shockingly simple discovery that turned it all around for me. It's helped myself, my wife, and countless patients of mine feel and look better, even as we get older. And by the way, even if you are currently in excellent health, I now consider the single most important thing anyone can do daily to help maintain great health and a healthy weight. And it's so easy, there's no reason not to do it. I've been interviewed about this discovery in several major magazines and on national TV shows. I also talk about this in my best-selling book, The Plant Paradox. And while there is now a 6-month waiting list to come see me at my practice, thanks to word spreading about my discovery, this information is so important, I decided to give it away for free today in this report and publicly reveal my number one superfood for total body transformation. This is a food you probably do not already eat regularly. However, my latest studies show it's really something you should be giving your body every single day. And if you are over the age of 40 and more than 10 pounds overweight, it becomes much more critical.
You know, I attribute almost all of my weight loss to the addition of this one superfood.
Now, something I've wondered ever since I was a student at Yale is why don't we crave good foods that make us lean?
And why does everything that tastes good have to be bad for us? Well, here's a fact about your own body that may startle you. You already know your body is made up of cells. However, did you also know that for every cell in your body, you have 9 microbes that are not human? Yes, you heard me correctly. Call them bacteria, microbes, or flora, but you have a lot of them living in your system. Around 25 trillion to be exact. And scientists now know these microbes are just as important to our survival as our human cells. In fact, we could not even survive without them. They help us fight off infections and airborne illnesses. And most importantly, they help us digest the things we eat. Where do they come from? We get our first dose of microbes from our mothers as we come out through the birth canal. And to show you how important they are, we now know that babies born by C-section are much more likely to become sick during their first 6 months, as they don't have these critical microbes to help them fight off illness. As biologist Sarkis K. Mazmanian of the California Institute of Technology says, just because microbes are foreign doesn't mean they're any less a fundamental part of us. And I agree. It's only in the last 10 years we have begun extensively studying them.
We know now that most of our microbes reside in our gut, which is your stomach and bowels. These friendly microbes are known as probiotics. Perhaps you've heard of them before, or even take probiotics yourself daily as a supplement to keep your gut strong, which I do strongly encourage, although there is one major problem with probiotic supplements, which I'll get to in just a moment. But first, let's be clear on what they are and why we need them. Our body's natural probiotics help us digest the food we eat, and along the way, eat some of it themselves. And get this, these microbes can send messages directly to your brain. They use your body's own hormones to tell your brain what you've been eating, how your food is digesting, and what foods you need more of. The way I tell my patients is to think of your microbes like a rainforest.
There is an entire ecosystem of living organisms down there that call your digestive tract home. Your brain knows that keeping this rainforest healthy is critical to keeping your body healthy. So when your microbes tell your brain what they need, it listens. However, here's where things can go dangerously wrong.
Just like a rainforest, no matter how lush and healthy your microbiome is, it has a delicate balance that can be easily destroyed, causing hormone signals to get crossed, bad cravings to spike, and overall chaos throughout your body. So, what are a few ways your rainforest gets destroyed? Here's one extremely common example. When I'm giving a lecture, I'll often ask the room, raise your hand if as a child your parents gave you antibiotics.
Most hands go up. Would you have raised your hand as well? Did you receive antibiotics as a child? Or have you taken them within the last 2 years? I hate to say it.
We now know that antibiotics don't just kill off infections. One round of antibiotics kills off the entire rainforest of your good gut microbes as well. And these days, antibiotics aren't just given for serious infections like they used to be. Oh no. These days, powerful antibiotics are given for everything from the sniffles to ingrown toenails and even minor acne breakouts. And when these antibiotics reach your gut, your microbe rainforest is devastated. So think of your gut microbes as a lush rainforest where there's this incredible ecology that's taken years to establish, but in one single week you can completely wipe it out, just like as if it was a real forest and a fire went through it.
And if we think of all the bacteria in our gut as basically a tropical rainforest, with all this amazing ecology of all these species living together, and then we throw napalm on it by taking an antibiotic, you can see the devastation that might be caused. And we're realizing now that one single dose of antibiotics can destroy your gut flora for up to 2 years.
That's exactly what happens when you take antibiotics. And here's something else I tell my patients. Even if you have never taken antibiotics, you can also be in trouble if you eat meat regularly. Studies now show that antibiotics given to farm animals are passed on when they are eaten by humans.
Giving low doses of antibiotics became standard in the industry for chickens, for beef, and for pork, and even for lamb. What's happened is that we didn't realize that small amounts of these antibiotics are retained in the meat of these animals. So that when we eat a steak or a pork chop or even bacon or even a chicken, we're actually consuming antibiotics, even though there's nothing on the label that says it's there.
Every time you eat non-organically grown meat, you are essentially taking a low dose of antibiotics, which can kill off your good microbes. Now, I'm not going to tell you to stop eating meat. However, it is important that I now reveal to you that so-called healthy additive that's probably in your pantry. Nod your head if you've ever had a Splenda in your coffee in the last 6 months. If so, I have some unfortunate news. Duke University showed in 2008 that 1 pack of Splenda kills off 50% of the microbes in your gut. And Splenda is also the main sweetener in many diet sodas.
So, if you've ever put Splenda in your coffee or drank a diet soda, you were swallowing something that damaged your rainforest. Now, I want you to picture a real rainforest for me. And now, picture a forest fire coming along and wiping it out. Then, let's say we take some tree seeds and plant them in the ground. It's going to be a long time before that rainforest grows big and strong again. And some of those seeds might not even stick. It's the same with when you take probiotics. Sure, you're putting beneficial bacteria in, but they don't stick for very long. In fact, we now have evidence that 1 round of antibiotics can disrupt your gut bacteria for up to 2 years. However, there is one special food you can eat with your probiotics to make them work better and faster, so those good bacteria can really flourish within your gut and help make you healthier faster. I'll show you what this food is in just a moment, as I recommend everyone eat it daily. But first, I want to explain why healthy gut bacteria is so important for keeping a healthy weight. This is a friendly microbe known as H. pylori, a good microbe naturally found in the human gut. Do you remember how I told you that these microbes can communicate with your brain? Well, H. pylori communicates with your brain about one thing in particular. That is your ghrelin levels. What is ghrelin? Ghrelin is known as the hunger hormone. It's what tells your brain that you are hungry. When you wake up in the morning and want breakfast, it's because your ghrelin levels are high. After you eat, your ghrelin levels go down, thanks to the signals sent by H. pylori. However, in today's society, Not everyone even has the microbe H. pylori. In fact, now less than 6% of American children test positive for it. Where does H. pylori go?
In most cases, it's wiped out by antibiotics. By the time they reach age 15, most children in America have had multiple rounds of antibiotics to treat various ailments. I'm not entirely against antibiotics. However, Professor Blaser speculates that the widespread use of antibiotics has altered the intestinal microbiome, and that this change may explain rising levels of childhood obesity. I completely agree. And this has been happening for decades. Many of these children are adults today. As Professor Blaser states in Scientific American, we have a whole generation of children growing up without H. pylori to regulate gastric ghrelin. When your ghrelin goes unregulated, you never feel full. It's that simple. You feel hungry longer and eat more than you should. It's clear evidence that a lack of good microbes could be making you gain weight. To make things worse, in your gut also live what I call bad microbes, or as I like to think of them, bad bugs. They consist of things like yeast, fungus, molds, and bacteria. One of the better-known bad bugs is called a candida, and it's perfectly normal to have a few bad bugs down there. That's the way ecosystems work. And normally, your good microbes keep them in check. But when you wipe out our good microbes with antibiotics, or Splenda, or eating antibiotic-treated meat, the bad bugs start to go wild. And soon,
You have more bad bugs than good ones.
how can this further affect your weight management? Well, the bad bugs can send messages to your brain also. They hijack your vagus nerve, which is the direct connection between your gut and your brain. And then they start sending messages to your brain to eat the foods that they want to eat. Have you ever found yourself looking at a dessert and said, just one bite, but then you ate the whole thing? If so, consider the fact that it wasn't just you that wanted that dessert.
Your bad bugs were probably sending signals to your brain yelling, feed me, feed me. But they're not asking for veggies or lean proteins or good fats. Oh no, they love junk. That's why when a craving strikes, it's probably not for a leafy salad or a nice piece of grilled fish. Your bad bugs would much rather eat chips, cookies, fatty foods, and other dangerous, yet delicious, snacks and meals. The end result? We end up eating a bunch of crap. And it's not even our fault. I know, because it happened to me. Despite eating really healthy most of the time, I love to find junk food. I could eat a pound of M&Ms in a single sitting. I went through 8 Diet Cokes every day. I always had a Diet Coke in my hand. You could spot me walking the halls of the hospital. That's how you'd find me, with a Diet Coke in my hand. And why would I drink Diet Coke? So I could lose weight. And realizing not at that time that one of the reasons I was so addicted to junk food was what all these things were doing to the inside of me that made me have uncontrollable urges. At the time, I thought it was my fault. I thought I just had no willpower. There would be times I'd actually be telling myself, don't do it, while my hand was busy reaching into the M&Ms bag. But it turns out this happens to a lot of us.
Look at this chart of the rising obesity rate in America. If you found yourself reaching for pastas, breads, sugars, and sweets, or said yes to a dessert when you know you should have said no, it's not your fault, and you are not alone. In a landmark study conducted in 2014 and published that August in the science journal Bioessays, researchers from UC San Francisco, Arizona State University, and the University of New Mexico all agreed on this unanimously. They released a statement that rocked the medical community. After all, it's not often that 3 separate universities agree on anything. Here's what they said. Microbes influence human eating behavior and dietary choices to favor consumption of the particular nutrients they grow best on, rather than simply passively living off whatever nutrients we choose to send their way. Now, that's a bit scientific, so let me translate it into simpler words. Bad bugs can influence your food choices. And this is not just a theory. We now have real scientific proof. So if you've ever told yourself you would eat good one day, and then you caved in and ate something you shouldn't, now you know why. You see, the message bad bugs send to your brain is an irresistible message. And as Carlo Meli, PhD and director of the UCSF Center for Evolution and Cancer, recently stated, bacteria within the gut are manipulative. There is a diversity of interests represented in the microbiome, some aligned with your own dietary goals and others not. And of course, the more the bad bugs eat, the more they breed. This can result in all sorts of problems, from yeast infections to skin breakouts to gas, bloating, indigestion, and of course, weight gain.
Now, there is one piece of good news. If this sounds like it may be happening to you, there is an easy fix. And once you fix it, it can allow all of the problems caused by bad bugs to go away, including cravings you may be having for foods that can make you put on fat.
But people go, this is so great because now I just not hungry anymore. I don't have that urge to snack. I can pass that donut on the coworker's, desk. I don't have to reach into the jar of Jelly Bellies or, candies that I always used to reach into because I'm completely satisfied. And you're satisfied because you're actually giving the bacteria that control your hunger the things that they need to thrive.
You see, you don't necessarily have to kill off the bad bugs. You just need to nourish your good microbes, and they will take care of their house down there by themselves. Once your microbe balance is restored, patients often report digestive issues, bloating, gas, and discomfort around eating disappears. And what happens next? Well, as my colleague, Dr. Raphael Kelman, MD, author of the Microbiome Diet, says, simply put, if you get the microbiome, that collection of bacteria inside of you, healthy, you will lose weight.
One of the striking things that people notice is that their weight just begins to fall naturally towards what they were designed to weigh without any effort. Effortless weight loss is actually what we're all looking for.
And the best part is you don't have to stop eating your favorite foods.
So, what is this fix? There are two parts. First, there are certain foods you've probably been told are great for digestion that are actually terrible for you. The first thing I always tell people, say no to beans. Yes, fake health food number one is beans. This one really shocks people. You probably heard beans are great for you because they're filled with fiber to help keep you regular. In fact, when I was heavier, I would often eat a big bowl of bean salad when I needed to get things moving. Of course, there are side effects. Perhaps you've heard the rhyme, beans, the magical fruit, the more you eat, the more you toot. Well, in reality, beans are far from magical. In fact, they're downright dangerous. If you've ever gotten really gassy after eating a side of beans or a big burrito, that has nothing to do with the fiber. It's actually caused by a nasty toxin found in beans called lectins. Lectins are toxic proteins found in certain plants that stick to the cells in your body, most notably your digestive tract. They act like barnacles on the side of the boat, but they don't just stick there and clog things up. They actually poke tiny holes in your gut lining. This causes a condition known as leaky gut. Now, because of the name and the fact that it starts in your digestive tract, you may assume leaky gut only causes digestive problems. But gas, unpredictable bathroom habits, and bloating are just the beginning. Because when you have tiny holes in your intestines, guess what leaks out? Unfortunately, if you guessed poop, you're right. As lectins tear through your gut lining, all the toxins and bad bacteria stored in your gut, the stuff you're supposed to expel in the bathroom, start leaking into your bloodstream. Now, microscopic pieces of poop are literally circulating throughout your whole body. As they hit your joints, you get stiffness and aches. As they hit your muscles, you might feel weak or less mobile. Your skin may get red and itchy. But even worse, as they hit your cells' insulin receptors, they send signals to your brain that you're hungry, even if you're not, which for many people is a major cause of snacking between meals, especially that mindless snacking you don't even realize you're doing, until a whole bag of chips is gone. And the story only gets worse. I'll spare you the gory details, but suffice it to say, if you want to keep your energy high, your body lean, and your health in good condition, lectins are your worst nightmare. And beans are one of the worst sources. And believe it or not, so are tomatoes, eggplants, grains, and many types of nuts and legumes. In fact, if you eat meat or eggs regularly, those are packed with lectins too, because the chickens, cows, and pigs that wind up on your plate are fed almost exclusively with lectin-filled foods. These are the health foods that can crush your efforts to stay in shape. Many people have trouble believing this because these are foods that are supposed to be good for you. So how come they're filled with these dangerous lectins? Think of it this way. All living things want to survive, right? So if a gazelle is being chased by a lion, it runs. It doesn't want to be eaten. But if you're a plant, you can't run away. So you have to have a chemical defense or poison to make predators avoid you. That's why plants make lectins. Bugs who eat the bean crops are paralyzed by lectins. And when their bug friends see that happen, well, they know not to touch them, so the beans survive. Now, these lectins aren't strong enough to kill the humans who eat them, except in the case of raw or undercooked beans, which can be deadly. In fact, uncooked beans are so high in lectins, they can actually cause massive hemocoagulation. That's when your blood literally turns to jelly. Scary stuff, right? All from an innocent little bean. Now, obviously cooked beans are not as poisonous, but they are strong enough to cause leaky gut, which can lead to all the scary problems I just mentioned. But there's good news too. There are foods that can actually fortify your gut, making it stronger against toxic invaders and crushing cravings at the same time. And two of my favorites are bad foods you've probably been told to avoid. One is dark chocolate. Yes, the candy. This was great news for me, a candy addict. Remember I mentioned my love for M&Ms? I used to keep a Halloween-sized bag of M&Ms in my desk, yes, at the medical office, locked away where no one could find it. But boy, did I find it. Many times a day, I'd find myself reaching into my desk and grabbing a big, delicious handful without even thinking about it. Now, I obviously don't recommend eating handfuls of M&Ms. They're loaded with far too much sugar, which will feed your bad gut bugs and cause you to pack on pounds. But I do recommend high-quality dark chocolate made with at least 72% cacao. Why? Because it's loaded with polyphenols. Polyphenols, in my opinion, are the single most important micronutrient in the human diet. In fact, I call them youth molecules, and in the standard American diet, we don't get nearly enough of them. Polyphenols are like supercharged antioxidants. That means they can help clean up damaged molecules roaming around our body, like the kind that form when we eat bad foods, or are exposed to pollution, pesticides, or chemicals in our day-to-day lives. But that's not all. Polyphenols are actually now believed to have a two-way relationship with your friendly gut bacteria. That means they help each other. So your healthy gut bacteria helps the polyphenols from your food work better, and the polyphenols from your food help your gut bugs work better. So don't forget, a quick snack of delicious dark chocolate is a great choice for keeping your gut and your whole body, not to mention your taste buds, healthy and happy. Pretty good for a junk food. But do you know what health food can actually destroy a balanced gut? Fake health food number 2, tomatoes. Now, I know you may be thinking, but Dr. G, tomatoes? Really? Tomatoes are good for you, right? Well, not quite. While tomatoes do contain healthy nutrients like vitamin C and lycopene, they also contain a high amount of those nasty lectins, the same plant protein in beans, which is incredibly bad for humans. I was among the first to conduct a human clinical trial to prove this, and I presented my findings at the American Heart Association's 2013 conference. We took 200 adults, 120 men and 80 women, ages 51 to 86, each of whom had vascular risk factors for heart disease, and asked them to replace high lectin foods like tomatoes with leafy greens, fish, olive oil, and animal protein. Here's what we discovered, and you can quote me on this as many others have. Simple removal of healthy lectin-containing foods and taking a few inexpensive supplements may restore endothelial function to normal, which in turn can reverse high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity. So, aside from tomatoes, which foods contain lectins? That's the trick. Since lectins are plant proteins, they're mostly found in fruits and veggies, the very foods you're supposed to eat to stay healthy and slim. For example, eggplants, potatoes, and peppers, which are all members of the nightshade family, just like the tomato. Most of the lectins in tomatoes are found in the seeds or in the peel. This is why it's tradition in Italy to only eat the inside pulp of a tomato, and why farmers created the Roma tomato, which contains a very high amount of pulp. They peel the tomato, cut it in half, squeeze out the seeds, and presto, now you have safe tomato sauce. Lectins are also found in most nuts, seeds, and legumes. In fact, here's something most people don't know. Peanuts are actually not nuts at all. They're legumes, meaning they're basically beans. So you can see why they're so closely linked to allergies and other health issues, because peanuts are another major culprit behind the leaky gut cases I see in my clinic, not to mention the bloating, weight gain, and joint problems that come with it. That's why I'm so thrilled lectin-free diets are finally getting some popularity. As recently, Tom Brady and his lovely wife Gazelle made news when they went lectin-free. And Usher, the R&B singer and judge on the popular show The Voice, used my suggestions to drop 15 pounds for his role as Sugar Ray Leonard in the movie Hands of Stone. I recommend you cut these foods from your diet as often as you can. If you must eat tomatoes, go for the pulp. And if you love snacking on nuts, stick with pistachios, which have a much lower lectin count than other nuts. However, if you think you will have difficulty cutting out these things, pay close attention to the health food I'm going to warn you about next, as it contains some of the highest lectin content of all, But before I tell you the next thing I suggest you avoid, as promised, some good news. Another gut-boosting food I do recommend wholeheartedly is coffee. Yep, your morning cup of joe may actually be the healthiest thing you consume all day. Not only is coffee drinking associated with lower body weight and a reduced chance of developing type 2 diabetes, it's also excellent for your digestive health. Have you ever had a cup of coffee and had to head to the bathroom almost immediately? That's because of a chemical called chlorogenic acid, a type of superpotent polyphenol that may help stimulate the gut. And remember, if you want a strong, healthy gut and a slim waistline, polyphenols are your best friend. And more good news, even if you're not big on caffeine, decaf coffee has chlorogenic acids too, so you can help nourish your gut lining without the jitters if you prefer. By the way, the superfood that helped me lose 70 pounds goes great with coffee or any other beverage you love to drink at breakfast. But before I share it with you, do you know what fake health food you should never eat at breakfast or any other time of day for that matter? Fake health food number 3, wheat bread. Do you remember the snack I mentioned that made my waistline shrink when I stopped eating it? It was grains, particularly those found in brown bread. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but so-called healthy brown bread is actually worse for you than white bread. People would be surprised that brown bread or whole grain bread is actually worse for them than white bread because the brown bread has far more lectins than white bread does. As my friend Mark Sisson says, our digestive processes didn't evolve to maximize the effectiveness of grain consumption. Just because you can tolerate grains to a certain degree, as just about all of us can, doesn't mean your body was designed for them or that they're truly healthy for you. And actually, I'm sure you've heard about the whole anti-gluten craze, where people cut out gluten-rich foods like breads and grains to feel better and lose weight. Well, the reason it works is because gluten is a lectin. Is it any surprise that when a farmer wants to fatten a hog for slaughter, he feeds it grains? If you cut these healthy breads from your diet, don't be surprised if you find yourself feeling slimmer and less bloated. Now, in my experience, bread is one of the hardest foods for people to give up. In fact, some research shows bread may actually be addictive. So, if you're having trouble imagining yourself giving up your favorite sandwich or a nice roll with dinner, do your gut a huge favor and switch to sourdough bread. Yes, this white bread is better for you than that healthy brown stuff they sell in the store, which is actually a total gut bomb. Because the flour in sourdough bread is fermented, it has a much lower impact on your gut than those lectin bomb brown breads. It's still not a perfect food, as it does contain lectins, but it's okay as a sometimes treat, especially if you're going to eat it alongside the gut-boosting superfood I'll be revealing in a moment. What I'm going to share with you now is not only what helped reset my own digestive system, it's actually what made it possible for me to drop 70 pounds of fat. Now, my results with the simple 1 minute a day suggestions are not typical. I am in no way suggesting that if you do what I'm about to say, that you will drop 70 pounds or even 1 pound. You may not even be interested in losing weight. However, what I'm about to share with you has health benefits that go far beyond weight management. So, unless you've been sticking to an all-organic, meat-free diet, it's critical you listen to what I'm about to say. What you're about to discover has never been published in any book, video, science journal, or anywhere else ever before. And while I previewed it in my best-selling book, The Plant Paradox, I myself have only shared this information in its entirety one time. When I was asked to speak at the International Society of Microbiota World Congress in Paris, France in October of 2015. It was there I presented this groundbreaking information to a room of 450 physicians from all around the world. When my presentation ended, one doctor stood up, then another, and another, until the entire room erupted in a rousing standing ovation. And that was when I knew this was just too important. I had to get it out into the world now, even though some in the mainstream health community probably wouldn't be ready to hear it. It's my number one key to feeling slimmer without crash dieting, having more energy to do the things you love, being in a happier mood, freeing yourself from digestive chaos, having a healthier, younger-looking appearance. And I'm living proof that getting healthy does not have to be a struggle, even though it can certainly feel that way, especially if you've tried to get in shape in the past only to be disappointed or even see your best efforts backfire. In fact, my patients who struggled the most with issues like excess weight, cravings, and bloating are often the ones who see the greatest benefits through this method.
This brings me to my favorite part. It's the solution that worked for me after everything else I tried failed. Do you remember the superfood I mentioned to you earlier that I said was my number one superfood for total body transformation? Well, get this. The superfood is not actually for you. It's for your good gut microbes. I'd like to introduce you to something called prebiotics. Prebiotics are a superfood for your good microbes. They cause our bacteria friends to flourish again so that you can start feeling better, metabolizing your food correctly, and find it easier to manage your weight. You see, while your good microbes may be in low numbers right now, they are still in your system. They may have been weakened by antibiotics, and they are probably starving, but they are there. You just need to give them some food, and they will start doing amazing things. Easier digestion, increased metabolism, converting more of the food you eat into energy instead of fat, support of your immune system so you get sick less often. They can even take care of your skin. Here's the best part. Once you start giving your good microbes the food they need, they start sending the messages to your brain, and they want you to eat more good foods. This is when your cravings for junk food can begin to disappear.
Once the good guys take over, they eliminate your cravings because they don't need those things. And believe it or not, they control your brain and what you want.
It's incredible just how effective feeding your good microbes can be. As researchers Athena Aktipis, PhD, Carl O'Malley, PhD, and Joe Alcott, MD, all recently agreed in their 2014 bioessays paper, because microbiota are easily manipulable by prebiotics, altering our microbiota offers a tractable approach to otherwise intractable problems of obesity and unhealthy eating. Now, prebiotics are not to be confused with probiotics, which you may have heard of.
You may even be one of the millions of Americans who takes probiotics daily.
Here's the difference. Probiotics are beneficial good bacteria, kind of like the good microbes you already have in your gut. In theory, probiotics will work alongside your own microbes to help keep your bad bugs in check. Now, there is some truth to this. However, there's something about probiotics you must know. Yes, they are good microbes, but they are not your microbes, and they are not nearly as beneficial as your own. They spend a couple of weeks in your gut, then they leave. Why do they leave? Well, one of the reasons is because they have nothing to eat. That's why taking probiotics without also taking prebiotics is a huge waste of money.
So if you've tried probiotics and still struggle with gut problems or weight gain, this could be why.
The way I explain it to my patients is simple. Taking probiotics by themselves is like planting trees without giving the trees any water or fertilizer. Sure, you can enjoy the trees for a while, but soon, unless you feed them, they will soon die.
Prebiotics, on the other hand, work with or without probiotics.
And clinical studies prove they work. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that one of my favorite prebiotic ingredients significantly increased levels of bifidobacteria in humans within just 7 days. Bifidobacteria are the most important type of good microbes we have in our bodies. They specifically stimulate the immune system, increase resistance to infection and diarrheal disease, reduce markers of chronic gut problems, and enhance overall gut health. I recommend boosting your bifidobacteria levels if you've been having even minor digestive issues. I've spent the last decade studying the human microbiome and the benefits of prebiotics. Over the last 8 years since my book has been released, I've been asked to recommend prebiotic formulas. And there are several brands out there that I've recommended in the past. However, it was a year ago I made a startling breakthrough. I figured out a way to make prebiotics many times more effective, and was easy to do. You see, usually when a patient comes to me needing prebiotics, it's because their bad bugs have completely taken over. You know the signs. Finding it tougher and tougher to stay in shape. Digestive problems that don't seem to go away. Constantly feeling tired or fatigued. Yeast infections, bad breath, or fungal outbreaks. Or having cravings for junk food no matter how hard you try to eat healthy. What I realized is this. In addition to giving your good microbes what you need, you can tweak a prebiotic food compound so that it starves the bad bugs. What I've discovered after a decade of research is that different bugs eat different foods. So the trick is to give your good bugs the food that bad bugs can't eat, even if they tried. This starves out the bad bugs, and your good microbes flourish. They die off, so you feel healthier sooner. Then your good microbes can restore things back to order quickly, so that you can start feeling better faster. And when I say better, I mean experiencing more energy, less food cravings, and smoother digestion, which can lead to improved weight management as you no longer crave the foods that are contributing to weight gain. It's amazing how you can not only look slimmer, but feel healthier and more alive. I think you'll agree, when you feel better and have more energy, you are more physically active. And getting out of the house more and doing more physical activity can lead to getting a great body all by itself. After making this breakthrough, I realized I had stumbled upon a master formula that would allow me to create a prebiotic more powerful than any that had ever existed. And once word got around of my discovery, a large supplement manufacturer reached out to me. However, I didn't like what they told me. They said that while my discovery would without a doubt lead to the most transformative microbe formula on the market, it would be too expensive to put into one compound. They wanted to package it as separate compounds and charge top dollar for each. You see, half of my complex is designed to nourish your good microbes, and the other half is designed to starve the bad bugs. They wanted to put it in two separate bottles, a prebiotic and an antifungal, and charge $65 apiece, which wouldn't be a terrible deal considering the power of these nutrients. However, I felt I could do better. You see, I've been practicing medicine since the 70s. I'm very proud of my discoveries, and I want them to be able to change as many lives as possible. And as many as my patients will tell you, this formula is a game changer. I firmly believe every single person in America could benefit from taking this formula daily, which is why my wife, daughters, and I take it every single day. I consider it more important than a daily multivitamin, and far more important than a daily probiotic, because if you don't give probiotics food, you aren't going to get their full effect. That even goes for the probiotics I personally recommend. So my team of researchers and I decided to take matters into our own hands. We scoured labs across the country until finally discovering one that could produce the laboratory-grade compounds in the clinical strength required to see dramatic gut health improvements, and then put them both into the same compound, so my patients wouldn't have to buy two separate items. It took a few tries to get it right, but after many months of testing, finally, we did. And with that said, it gives me great pleasure to present to you PreBioThrive, the ultimate in healthy gut support. PreBioThrive is a simple powder that you mix into your first drink of the day. It goes to work immediately, nourishing your good microbes with a proprietary compound that is natural, non-GMO, vegan, and allergen-free, while at the same time starving bad bugs that are bogging down your system so they perish quickly and stop triggering your body to eat the foods they want. It not only contains the most powerful prebiotic, which is known for reducing abdominal discomfort, but it also contains organic acacia.
Scientific studies have shown that this nutrient,
As part of the diet, helps soothe and regulate your bowel movements, relieves abdominal pain and cramping, supports against both diarrhea and constipation. It also contains agave inulin. This supports bone health by increasing your body's absorption of calcium and magnesium. These create a formula that can completely revitalize your gut, significantly boosting your bifidobacteria in just 7 days for results that you can see and feel. Unlike some of the lower quality prebiotics on the market, PreBioThrive supports healthy weight management, slows down colonic fermentation, decreasing many digestive issues you may be experiencing now, and of course, is non-GMO, free from additives, free from gluten, artificial sweeteners, lactose, and rice maltodextrin. It's odorless and tasteless. Simply mix it into any beverage to start your day in the healthiest way possible. However, don't you dare make that beverage a soda. Taking it with a sugary beverage will cancel out all the effects. Unsweetened coffee, iced tea, or water is perfectly okay. As my patients say, the more you drink, the better you feel. My wife and I enjoy it a minimum of once daily.
though if you're traveling and want to give your good bugs extra nourishment against unfamiliar bugs in foreign water or food, I really recommend enjoying it 2 to 3 times a day. In just a moment, I'll share with you a little more about the science of what makes it so effective for kicking bad food cravings and restoring your gut health.
However, first, I want to let you know how you can get it. Because as you can imagine, combining this many potent compounds into one formula was not easy, and it was expensive. When my team and I first began formulating PreBioThrive, we worried it would be too pricey for some of my patients to afford. If you were to find a compound of this quality at a health food store, it might run you somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 a bottle. And if you were to try to purchase all of its ingredients on their own, the total cost would be much more than that. So we decided to make a decision, and I think you'll agree it was the best move. While it would have been exciting to have the product in Whole Foods or in other premium health food chains, we decided to cut out the middleman so that we could offer it directly to you with no retail markup. So you don't have to pay extra to support the costs of a big store. So as it stands, PreBioThrive cannot be found in stores or on any other website for that matter. And that is how we intend to keep it. This way, you can get the finest prebiotic compound ever created without paying an arm and a leg.
PreBioThrive is a prebiotic with a 2-part formula designed to 1. Nourish your good microbes, while 2. Starving out the bad bugs. At my own office, it retails for just $79 for a 30-serving container. At that price, folks are thrilled to get digestive relief, cravings control, and all the other life-changing benefits of premium prebiotics for just $2.63 a day, especially those who have been suffering for years without a reliable solution. When their bloating, gas, and out-of-control cravings finally went away, when they finally felt the renewed energy and confidence that comes with that kind of relief, many people called their new lease on life priceless.
However, you won't even have to pay $79 today. Because we want as many people to be able to enjoy the benefits of PreBioThrive as possible, we have put together a special internet-only offer for new customers only. You are going to get it for the incredible price of just $49.99. You save $30 off the retail price, nearly 40% off. And because 87% of people who try PreBioThrive want to keep taking it, we've put together some special discount packages that allow you to save even more. When you choose a 3-container package, our most popular option, you'll receive PreBioThrive for an unheard-of price of just $44 per container. And when you invest in a family package of 6 today, you can save even bigger. We will even cover the cost of shipping when you order 3 or 6-pack today.
Why are we doing this? Actually, there are 2 reasons. If you haven't been feeling your best lately, I recommend taking PreBioThrive 2 to 3 times a day for the first week or so, as your good gut bugs have likely been starved for a long time and need a kickstart to get things moving in the right direction. So, I wanted to make this rapid gut reset affordable. A great many of my patients have families that also struggle with digestion and cravings, so they're eager to share their newfound health secret with their spouses, children, parents, siblings, or close friends. That's why I wanted to price the family pack in a way that makes it affordable for everyone. Every container is backed by my 90-day money-back guarantee. That means you can try it for a full 3 months, evaluate how it's working for you, and then decide if you want to keep it. If for any reason you're not totally thrilled by your results, by the renewed smoothness and ease of digestion, the more predictable bathroom habits, the reduced bloating and cravings, simply return it to us, even if it's all used up. And we'll return your full purchase price, no hassle, no hard feelings. Some folks have recommended we get rid of this policy, as there are those few folks who will abuse it to effectively get PreBioThrive for free. However, as someone who personally knows how much debate goes into trying something new, especially when so many products on the market today are so disappointing, I believe this money-back guarantee is the best way to help people feel comfortable trying this incredible health booster without the commitment. And besides that, I really want you to love this formula like I do. I'm only happy if you are. However, this internet-only offer is only valid while supplies last, and through this presentation only.
Fortunately, there is a way to lock in the exclusive price you're getting right now with guaranteed availability and save an additional 10% off. Look for the subscribe and save option on the product page to claim these additional savings and lock in your price forever. Members get free delivery every month, so you never miss a day of PreBioThrive. And you can stop or pause your subscription at any time. Right now, you can pay as little as $1.22 per day to give you the appetite and cravings controlling power of this premium digestive enhancement formula made with 5 well-tested prebiotic ingredients. Update. Since we announced the release of PreBioThrive, we have been blown away by your response. Thousands of people around the nation are enjoying the benefits of PreBioThrive. Our phones have been ringing off the hook with comments and questions, and traffic on this video has caused our website to crash several times. Because of that, we quickly sold out of our initial batch and have placed another much larger order. If you click on the link below and see order options on the next page, that means you're in luck, and it is in stock and shipping now. Your order will be honored at this current special discounted price.
When you do order, I encourage you to stock up and save. PreBioThrive is formulated to stay fresh for years on your shelf, so you won't have to worry about over-ordering. Of course, if you do find you've ordered too much, we're happy to refund the extras. Of course, as I mentioned, the vast majority of those who try PreBioThrive want to continue using it. So I recommend ordering a slightly larger quantity than you normally would now.
And you will want to make sure you never run out, as taking it daily is important to your good microbes' health. It is also safe to travel with you. Since it's food for your good bacteria and not actual bacteria itself, no refrigeration is necessary. So click on the link below now to start your path to better health today. Oh, and with every purchase of PreBioThrive, we've decided to do something special. Because we realize how fortunate we are to be living here in America, we've decided to give back to those less fortunate with every purchase made. A portion of the sales made from PreBioThrive will be donated to Charity Water to help provide clean drinking water to children who otherwise wouldn't have it. So when you place your order today, you are not just helping yourself, but the children of the world. As a practicing doctor, I know how important it is to have purity in your water and in your foods, which is why every container of PreBioThrive is manufactured right here in the USA and tested by a third-party FDA-approved laboratory for quality and purity before it makes its way to you.
Well, one of the things that I insisted when I formed Gundry MD, that I wanted a third-party lab that was going to test my ingredients for safety. I'm not going to put my name on anything. I've been at this long enough that isn't perfect in every way that I can make it that way. And I want, rather than me telling somebody that it's safe, I want a third-party lab to confirm that it's safe.
That way, you know you're getting the purest and most potent compound available. And every container is backed with our Gundry MD, you feel it or it's free guarantee. The way it works is simple. Get PreBioThrive and try it out. If at any time during the next 90 days you aren't feeling slimmer, more energetic, and healthier, simply send back the unused portion and I'll refund every cent of your purchase price. Now, I fully expect you to feel results in your first 7 days. Smoother digestion, more energy, better sleep, and sharper focus are just a few of the benefits my patients report. And that's in addition to no longer feeling like a slave to cravings for bad foods, along with a slimmer looking waistline and feeling a lot more excited about what you see in the mirror. However, because microbe change tends to show even more dramatic results as time goes on, I want to encourage you to use it until the entire container is gone. If you are then still unsatisfied, you can send back the empty container and I'll still refund your full purchase price. That's how confident I am PreBioThrive is going to give you results you can feel. But if it doesn't, I insist you don't pay for it. At Gundry MD, we pride ourselves on excellent customer support, and I'll make sure you get a refund quickly if you are unsatisfied for any reason at all. That's just the way I like to do business, and how confident I am you are going to be glad you made this important decision for your health today. When you click on the link below, you'll be taken to our secure order page. It's encrypted with the latest 256-bit SSL security for your total protection and privacy. This is the same encryption used by Apple and Amazon.com. Simply choose the package that is right for you and enter your shipping and billing information, hit the order button, and we'll rush PreBioThrive to you. Or, if you'd prefer to order by phone, simply call the number on your screen. You'll speak with one of our friendly customer service reps who are right here in the USA. The demand for PreBioThrive has been incredible, so if you happen to get a busy signal, please call again. All orders ship within 24 hours, and most go out on the same day, even on Sundays. Then, simply take it with a glass of water every morning and get ready. Because if you're like many of my patients, you're going to be amazed at just how much better nourishing your precious microbiome can make you look and feel. Remember, our good microbes number in the trillions. There are 9 of them for every one of our human cells. And when you take care of them, guess what? They begin to take care of you. Better metabolism and digestion. No more feeling bloated, gassy, or sluggish. Many of my patients report their skin looks shinier and healthier, as most skin problems are actually the result of issues on the inside that PreBioThrive can help you support. And of course, the benefits of having you run the show when it comes to what you eat. Many of my patients are impressed with how much easier it becomes to manage their weight when they are relieved of this internal force that has been making them crave bad foods. Because, let's face it, starting a weight loss program while bad bugs are influencing what, when, and how much you eat is like trying to roll a boulder up a mountain. If you've tried to control your weight before and haven't had any luck, it's not your fault. You probably just didn't realize how much your bad bugs could be to blame. Now there is an easy solution that you can do at home to get your microbes back to their proper level of health, and it's called PreBioThrive. So click on the link below to give it a try today. I promise you, your waistline, and your trillions of good microbes will be very glad you did. Wishing you the best in happiness and health, I'm Dr. Stephen Gundry. P.S. I'd love to hear from you about how PreBioThrive has worked for you. Since this video has been released, I've been receiving letters every day from people around the world who are experiencing sensational results. And while there are too many for me to respond to each and every one, I really enjoy reading them. My email is drgundry@gundrymd.com. And if you enjoyed this presentation, I always appreciate you giving it a share on your social media page or with those you love. So click on the order button now and let me be the first to welcome you to the Gundry MD family. PPS. If you're still here, it's probably because you have some questions. So I wanted to take a minute to answer some of the most common questions I'm getting now. Question: how will I know it's working? Great question. Many of my patients report after just a couple of days using my proprietary compound, waking up with more energy, no longer craving sweets or carbs, feeling more excited about physical activity, feeling more focused and productive. Because you see, here's another breakthrough we doctors have just recently discovered. Serotonin production, which is the happy hormone that controls your mood, actually happens in your GI tract. So if yours is full of bad bugs, you're probably not making as much of this happy hormone as you need. And you could be feeling down, stressed out, or over-anxious because of it, when really, there's no need for that, as I've found in my practice that emotional eating is one of the biggest obstacles to getting thin. So naturally, when you're happy and feeling positive, you eat less junk, and your body will show it. Question: do you still take PreBioThrive personally? Absolutely, and every morning, in fact. What else was amazing to me after I began taking it was the massive energy I began to have once my digestive system was functioning properly. After all, our digestive tract contains 70% of the cells in your entire body. It's also the power center of your body. I began no longer needing caffeine to get through my day. And best of all, it helped me kick my diet soda habit. And even though it's now been years since I was overweight, I still consider my daily PreBioThrive to be my most important ally in managing my weight. Question: can you explain again the difference between this and probiotics? Sure. So as I mentioned before, probiotics are beneficial bacteria. However, the problem with many probiotics is they never make it to the place in your digestive tract where they need to be, so you don't get the benefits at all. Prebiotics, however, are resistant to heat, oxygen, the body's enzymes, and acids. Therefore, they are not destroyed, digested, or absorbed as they travel through your digestive system. They reach the colon intact, where they feed your naturally occurring good bacteria, helping them to grow and multiply. Unlike probiotics, which can dissolve in your stomach and give you gas without giving you out. Now, not all probiotics are ineffective. In fact, there are some I recommend. And combining probiotics and prebiotics can be very beneficial to gut health, especially at first. However, I will say this again. If you are taking probiotics without taking prebiotics, you are wasting your money. Without giving them food, they will quickly exit your system or die off, leaving bad bugs to run wild and free. Question: I haven't ever taken antibiotics. Do I still need this? Another great question. The answer depends on your diet. If you've been sticking to a diet free from sugars, sweets, refined carbs, or sweeteners, then you are probably okay. However, that is nearly impossible to do these days, and frankly, I feel the food industry is to blame. If you open up any popular magazine or turn on your TV, you will see an endless amount of ads for foods that we humans were never meant to eat. A great example of this is snacks. Look, I wrote my entire 160-page thesis at Yale on human ancestral diets, and I can tell you with certainty, we humans do not need to eat snacks. Think about your caveman ancestors. They didn't have pantries to keep potato chips in, or refrigerators to store ice cream. And they certainly didn't ever eat popcorn with a movie. Of course, the food industry wants you to buy more food, so it urges us to eat as much and as often as possible. Could it also be possible that the food industry is putting more sugars and sweeteners in your food that will feed bad bugs, so that we crave more of their sugary snacks and sweets? Well, sugar consumption in the United States has increased by 30% over the last 30 years. So I'll let you be the judge of that. Anyways, I'm not here to talk conspiracy theories, bash the food industry, or to get political. I'm just here to give you the facts. As a doctor, I've sworn under oath to do what is best for the health of my patients. And that's why I've invested a lot of my own time and money to create this presentation, to help get you in shape, despite the fact there are forces out there that want to keep us all fat. So let's join together and tell them to stick it. And getting healthy is the best revenge. Before I go, I want to share with you another real-world example that shows just how powerful this can be. It's about a woman marathoner in England who we'll call Susan. Susan had a very bad intestinal infection called C. difficile, so they needed to give her what's called a fecal transplant. What this means is a transplant of poop from a healthy human into her colon. I know it's gross to think about, but picture this. Our poop contains billions of bugs. Billions! And we have now discovered that transplanting poop of a healthy person into the colon of someone who is suffering from intestinal issues can clear them right up. How? The good bugs from the other person go in there and clean house. Kind of gross, I know, but it's absolutely true. Back to our story. Doctors determined Susan needed a fecal transplant, and they knew it would be ideal if it came from someone who was related to her. Luckily, one of her nieces volunteered. Now the niece, while in otherwise good health, was about 30 pounds overweight. The doctors went ahead and performed the fecal transplant, and Susan had a full recovery from her intestinal disease and went back to her running. However, over the course of 6 months, she gained 30 pounds. The really strange thing was, Susan's diet stayed exactly the same. What happened? From her niece, she had acquired what we call obesogenic bugs. In other words, bad bugs like that nasty Methanobrevibacter smithii we talked about earlier, that you may have inside of you right now. These bugs were not only better at stealing calories from the food she ate, but they actually urged her to eat more. This was written up in The Lancet, a very famous scientific publication, and this is a perfect example. Susan is a marathoner, and all of a sudden she is 30 pounds up from what she used to be, all because she got a different set of bugs in her. So now I think you're beginning to see just how much power our bugs can have over us, and just how much bad bugs can negatively affect our lives. We know from rat studies, you can take human feces from fat people and give them to skinny rats, and they become fat. And you can take human feces from skinny people and give them to fat rats, and they become skinny. We've known for a while that this happens in rats. However, now with this marathon runner, we know that it happens human to human. So this is not just pie-in-the-sky imagination. This is now proven that this is what happens. So again, those cravings you are getting that make you eat that extra bite or take control of your brain and make you order a fattening meal instead of a healthy one, what I tell my patients is, they are not your fault. However, now that we know what to do, I think we can agree that it is our fault if we don't do something about it, right? And I'm not talking about running out and getting a fecal transplant. In the future, I believe there will be fecal transplant clinics in every city for people wanting to lose weight. However, for now, there's a much easier solution that you can do at home to get your microbiome back to its proper level of health. And it's called PreBioThrive. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how well it works for you. Question: I'm into science. Can you tell me a little bit more about exactly how this works? Absolutely. Here is a little more scientific info about why prebiotics are such a necessary supplement to give to our bodies today. You see, what many people don't know, even many doctors, is that the bugs that really provide our health live in a layer of mucus against the wall of our gut. This layer of mucus is very important, as it keeps bad bugs from getting through the wall of your gut. These bugs require some of these substances to survive. The more of these bugs that exist in the mucus layer of your gut, the more they send signals to the gut cells to make more mucus. And the more mucus the gut cells make, the bigger the layer becomes, where particles like lectins and bad bugs have a harder time of getting through the wall of the gut. The more we give bugs that like mucus the food they like to eat, the more they will stimulate the wall of the gut to make even more mucus, and the more protection your body gets from these bad invaders. That's why many of my patients who take PreBioThrive notice some interesting side benefits. The main thing you may notice is that your aches substantially reduce. You see, the reason most aches occur is because the bad guys are getting through the defenses of the gut, or getting past the layer of mucus I just mentioned. So what we are going to do is build a barrier, a strong barrier, to keep the bad guys on their side. You see, when the bad guys break through, our immune system goes on high alert. The immune system says, oh no, the borders have been breached. We need to mobilize our forces. Let's scramble the fighter jets, and let's go to threat level 5. And if we see anyone suspicious, we should shoot now and ask questions later. This puts our body on attack mode and makes us incredibly stressed out. So once we patch up our border, then we can go about cleaning up the mess. And our bodies aren't constantly on attack mode. And it's actually all because you've created this border by supporting the bugs. Here's something else I think you'll find fascinating and a little funny. These good bugs actually make farts. Now, what they actually are short-chain fatty acids, but I like to call them bug farts. And these farts actually go into our bloodstream and into our kidneys. Once there, they are smelled by what are called olfactory nerves in our kidneys. We once thought these olfactory nerves were only in our nose, but they are actually in a lot of organs. And if a kidney smells these short-chain fatty acids, or bug farts, they make our blood vessels dilate and relax, which can lower blood pressure. However, if they don't smell these bug farts, they actually contract and your blood pressure goes up. So nourishing the good gut bugs in the body may even help keep your blood pressure down. Amazing, right? Okay, I think you can see by now just how powerful nourishing your good bugs can be, and how much of a nerd I am when it comes to this stuff. I've been making the study of our body's microbes my life work, and it's my sincere hope my discoveries help you. So click on the link below to try my most powerful formulation. Let's stop emotional eating, stop unnecessary snacking, and get in the best shape possible. Click on the link below and place your order today. And please remember to write me and let me know how it's working for you. And if you ever find yourself in Palm Springs or Santa Barbara, California, make sure to stop by my Centers for Restorative Medicine for a visit. I'd love to meet you face to face and say hello. Your friend in good health, I'm Dr. Stephen Gundry.